Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the best 5 star powers and 5 gadgets within the game right now. So as always, the meta shifts a little bit. There's some strong star powers and strong gadgets which you should definitely pick up and buy. So before we jump into things then, make sure you're using the creator code. That'd be greatly appreciated. Without further ado, let's hop into it. Alright guys, so jumping into probably the best star power in the game right now, we have Meg's star power called Force Field. So with this star power, you get a 35% damage reduction and it lasts for 30 seconds. So I'm actually recording this on the, I think, Wednesday, so there probably might be mid-season balance changes whilst I'm away on holiday, and I suspect that this is going to get a big nerf because I've already asked for this a few times. The big problem with Meg, in my opinion, is the fact that you can stay alive for so long with this star power. It just feels like you're taking on about 10 brawlers at once, if you get what I mean. Like, you finally get Meg down in her mech, and then she just has so much beefiness whilst in this mini form, and by the time you've maybe recouped your ammo or you've healed up, Meg's just able to cycle her super so quickly. So hopefully they actually nerf this, but if they don't, definitely pick this up. It's by far the best star power. Okay, so moving into another really strong star power within this meta, we have Amber's star power called Wild Flames. So as you guys probably know, Amber's received quite a big buff through her mythic gear. Her mythic gear slows 20% whenever an opponent's on her super, so it's really vital with this star power that you cycle your supers. So also, what this super allows you to do, what this star power allows you to do as well, is have more than one super on the field at one time. Without this star power, I don't believe you can have multiple supers on the ground. So, of course, you can just cover so much more of the map. And then, of course, they're going to be slowed for even longer. So this star power is incredibly toxic, especially combined with the mythic gear. Alright guys, so jumping into the next star power, which I think is really strong and people will learn it once they start unlocking Maisie. It is her star power called Tremors. So this star power, it slows people for 2 seconds every time they're hit with your super. So the main reason why this is so strong is because you only get your super after 3 shots with Maisie. So you imagine you get your first super, you can then just keep cycling because you're slowing the opponents with your super, and then you just get people into like a slow lock. It's insane. And also it just helps you with Maisie as well because her shots are pretty difficult to hit. So if you imagine once you super them, a lot of times you can just auto aim them because they're slowed, and then you cycle your super again. So this star power is just perfect for Maisie. Alright guys, so jumping into another really strong star power in the game right now, we have Hyperthermia on Lou. So this star power is pretty hard to begin with to see the true value in this star power, but as time has gone on, I've realized that this star power is actually really strong. So what Hyperthermia does, depending on how frozen their bar is, that little circle, whenever you shoot them, it can decrease their damage up to 50%. So that is pretty insane, especially now, you know, people are starting to stay away from loose supers a lot, so your main attack can actually freeze the opponents over time pretty well. And also, like, the little bar takes forever to go down as well, so they're always getting a decrease in damage. I just really like this star power. It actually makes a big difference, even though you may not realize it. And lastly, for the best star powers in this meta, we have Eyes Sharp with Buzz. So without this star power, Buzz could quite possibly be one of the worst brawlers inside of a game, just because he has a short range anyway, and it will just take him such a long time to charge that super. So it just basically forces your teammates into a 2v3 when you don't have a Buzz super. So what the Eye Sharp does, it increases the automatic charging radius, and it makes a huge difference. I think without it, as I mentioned, he'll be terrible, and it just allows you to cycle super much easier. Alright guys, so now jumping into the best gadgets in the game right now. First and foremost, we have Colette's gadget called Gotcha. So this gadget has always been super strong since it got introduced, and now that Colette's a little bit more meta, it's making this gadget even better. So you want to combine this with a mass attack style power, because the shield and the healing just makes it really hard to kill a Colette. So what this gadget does, it heals Colette for 5 seconds for 80% of the damage she deals to the opponent. So for high HP brawlers, if Colette's really weak and you gadget them, you're going to be stealing a lot of their HPs. So it just makes it really hard for the opponents to take you down, especially in heist, and you can keep cycling your supers really well. Okay, so jumping into another really strong gadget, of course, we have Crow's gadget, Slowing Toxin. So I think for years now, I've been saying this gadget is one of the best in the game. Even though it got nerfed from 5 seconds to 3 seconds, it's still one of the best gadgets easily. I think without this gadget, Crow would actually be an incredibly weak brawler. So what you want to do in 3v3 modes, make sure you're poisoning as many opponents as possible and get as much value out of those slows, and it just makes it so easy to take them down. And especially when you're looking to gain a lot of control or especially if you've got like a high damage dealer on your team like a B, you can just take teammate enemies down so quickly. So Slowing Toxin still has to be one of the best gadgets in the game. Okay, so jumping into another really strong gadget within this meta, we have Gray's gadget called Walking Cane. So to begin with, when Gray got released, Grand Piano was completely broken, but I always said that an underrated gadget would be Walking Cane, because you have the ability to break walls still. You can deal 1740 damage if you actually hit them through the wall. It pulls them closer towards you, and you can also do some cool tricks where if you pull the gadget and your super at the same time, you can actually do like a big gene pull. It's actually pretty insane, but for me it just allows a lot more slaying power with Gray, and I think without it, I think it would be pretty mediocre. So I just think it allows you to punish brawlers pretty quickly. It allows you to cycle super. It's a must-have for Gray. Okay, so jumping into another really strong gadget in the game right now, we have RT's gadget called Hacks. So the main reason why this gadget is so strong is because it allows him to counter other snipers. So the main problem is a lot of times you can just two-tap those snipers like B, Piper, Brock, Bell, and then just tap your gadget and they're just dead instantly. There's nothing they can do about it. And a really annoying thing as well is if you combine this with the quick math style power, you're basically keeping the mark on the opponent for like, I think it's 9 seconds. It's a really long time. And then just as it's about to expire, you can just pop the gadget, or you just pop the gadget before they're about to start their health regen. There's just a lot of scenarios which can really annoy the opponents. Okay, and jumping into the final gadget which you must pick up, it is slow-mo replay on Buster. So even a Buster is one of the worst brawlers in the game. This gadget is just not talked about enough. This gadget is so incredibly strong, and without it with Buster, I think it would actually nearly be an F tier brawler, because what it allows you to do, it pulls opponents closer to you, and of course you deal more damage then as Buster, but you can just start to make so many game-changing plays with the super. It also with this gadget, and it also allows you to cancel enemy supers as well, you know, like a Cole super and Anya. You can pop the gadget and it interrupts it, or if you want to score a goal in Brawl Ball, you can just pop your gadget and score. So I just think it's actually incredibly underrated, and once Buster maybe gets a buff soon, you'll actually realize how strong this gadget is. All right guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this one. So it's probably going to be my last pre-recorded video, just because I think starting Monday or sometime next week, there's probably going to be some balance changes. So any video I do, then it's going to be outdated basically, because it really did sound like once the competitive events were over, so there's ESL Masters going on at the weekend, once they were over, it seemed like we're going to do some bigger balance changes. So yeah, I think I'm going to struggle for content probably from like Monday to Wednesday next week. So yeah, just bear that in mind. So that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.